Disney Adventure World, the largest construction project since the original opening of the resort, has opened its doors, and so we must now look at what comes next. Just some days ago, we went around the parks, village, and hotels to check on the progress of all the construction projects currently happening. But as I said then, we left out the largest one to better focus on its progress and even new information and imagery that have come out since the last update. With that in mind, today we'll take flight on Panorama Magique, jump out of parachute drop, and walk around Adventure Bay for the best angles on the next major addition to the parks, the World of Lion King. First of all, the Lion King is a project that has been under works for a long time. It was set to replace the second world around the lake, back then announced as a smaller version of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, featuring the Rise as an attraction, a shop, a restaurant, and little more. In 2024, Disney made it official that the teams at Disneyland Paris were developing the world's first Lion King themed experience. I explained at several instances why I believe the choice to change from Star Wars to the Lion King was made. However, in the new book Adventure Has a New Name, soon to be released at Disneyland Paris, Disney dedicates a brief paragraph as to why this happened, saying that our most recent market research revealed an incredible affinity with this franchise, especially in Europe, and that this fondness was confirmed when we launched the Lion King and Jungle Festival in 2019, which highlighted our guests' demand for more experiences related to the Lion King. The release of the live-action remake of The Lion King that same year also introduced a new generation to the story, and thus further reinforced this expectation. We knew that we had a unique opportunity to enhance our destination with a new experience in our second park that could only be found at Disneyland Paris. The incredible book shares more imagery and information that we'll go through later in this video. With the new theme chosen, Imagineering spent several years designing everything soon to be found here. From the ride's facade, the shopping area, the restaurant, and of course, the incredibly impressive attraction. Last summer, the construction permits were filed, which gave us some incredible insight into what to expect from the ride. I have a full video dedicated to that I urge you to watch, as it showcases all the information very well. This ride's show building will cover nearly 14,000 square meters of surface. This will be the largest area in the resort, passing Pirates of the Caribbean and all the others, alone giving a great idea of the scale to be expected. It's also quite tall, with a total of 4 stories, although only the first and second floor are actually complete, with the third and especially fourth covering a small area. According to Disney and the blueprints, the ride counts with a total of 19 emblematic scenes filled with countless next-generation audio animatronics, coupled with the iconic music by Elton John and Hans Zimmer. Disney says that the ride will retell the story from the 1994 animated movie as faithfully as possible, confirming once more that will take a different approach in Frozen Ever After, as that ride is taking place after the first movie with scenes inspired on that story. Beth Clapperton is leading the creative direction of the project. She that has been with the resort for several decades and worked on some of the most important projects developed over the years. She says that any self-respecting log flume must include a waterfall, and as we know thanks to the permits, the ride will consist of 3 total drops, each higher and more thrilling than the last, with the last one right before the climax of the ride coming in at 16 meters, right about the same as Disney's other water thrill ride, Splash Mountain, now known as Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This drop will bring riders outside the show building, being the only time this happens. This is very important from the design perspective, as it gives people a preview of what to expect that crosses all language barriers. It also brings some incredible kinetic energy to the land. In the summer of 2025, Imagineering built a full-scale testing location close to the park. In fact, with the opening of Disney Adventure World, we can get some great views of this metal structure made to simulate the future drop and test how the vehicles react when going down, allowing for changes to be conducted in order to adapt them for the weather of Disneyland Paris. Natasha Rafalski, the president of the resort, has already said that the ride is being designed with weather in mind, so it can be comfortably ridden both during the summer to get wet or the winter while not doing so. We got a first look at the ride vehicles thanks to the new book where Beth is holding a scale model of one. These will mix capacity with thrills, having 4 rows of 3 guests. Note the detail in the front with the small line design from the film and how it blends with the traditional log flume aesthetic. I really like this design. The land itself will have several structures as its design has shifted from a more animal-made one to being inspired by Tanzanian architecture. This shift makes sense in my opinion as it translates several elements that will be very hard to effectively incorporate in the old aesthetic. The entire zone will cover over 30,000 square meters, quite larger than the world of Frozen, including the attraction, a shop, dining venues, and according to new information, unforgettable encounters with characters from the film. We've had Lion King meet and greets for several years in the Disney parks around the world, mostly being a traditional full-body costume of characters such as Timon or Rafiki. However, the world of Frozen has brought one addition most never saw coming, with the most incredible audio animatronic Disney has made so far in the form of Wandering Olaf. This has opened up hundreds of possibilities, and I wonder if Disney Imagineering could already be hard at work developing something like a Simba, Timon, or Pumbaa wandering animatronic. Either way, there appears to be a large awning at one of the entrances of the land, in an interesting configuration that I wonder could be a small outdoors theater. We've seen that World of Frozen includes an incredible boat show with live performers, special effects, and Olaf. So could something like that be in the works here? It could also be used as a meet and greet location, being quite flexible honestly. A major part of themed lands is landscaping. You can make or break a land, and Disney has always been amazing at their landscaping, helping transport us from the far west to the jungle or even other worlds. One of the major challenges for this expansion will be exactly this. The plants must sell the illusion of being in the middle of the savannah, while actually being 45 minutes away from the Eiffel Tower. It'll be very interesting to see how Imagineering works different species of plants to fit this new world, but the largest of them all could steal the spotlights, as in front of Pride Rock, Rafiki's home tree will be brought to life. What we'll be able to find inside of the ride is still very much a secret, but some new images give us a few hints of what to expect. Don Han, producer of The Lion King, visited Imagineering offices to check on the progress there, and we can see several models of many characters that I expect will be brought to life in audio animatronic form. These include the hyenas, Pumbaa, both adult and cub Simba, Rafiki, and Nala. There are smaller ones that I can barely make out, but I expect several others to be included like Timon, Scar, and Zazu. Beth says that she's most looking forward to the attraction's final scene, which will revive one of the film's most iconic and moving scenes in a completely new way. In the layout video, we could see that the final scene will have a huge scale, and that I believed it could be the final sequence of the film with Circle of Life. I still think that it would be great for the ride if it didn't start with Circle of Life and leave that whole thing to the end, really wrapping up as best as possible. One of the few scenes we've had a chance to see a little bit of was Hakuna Matata, thanks to this concept art released last year. Well, Disney released a new photo of a 3D model of the same scene, where we get a better idea of how Imagineers plan on immersing riders in this beloved world. The sets appear to be quite three-dimensional, with many elements that work together. In this case, everywhere you look, there's lush greenery, while the backdrops could either be painted or projected upon. It looks like the ride will blend both new and old dark ride methods, as there's a lot of black light in the scene that brings a whole lot of color and light to the sets, and if they all look like this, it'll truly feel like we've stepped into the film. Now let's check on the construction. Disney has been working on the site since the summer of last year. With earth leveling now complete, works have moved to the next stage, which is vertical construction. Thanks to the wide open areas of Adventure Bay, we can take a much closer look at how the works are progressing. You can clearly see a lot of movement happening in this site. There are 3 very large cranes operating here alongside countless other vehicles. I'll be alternating between photos taken from Adventure Bay and Panorama Magique so that we can get a better idea of everything. With vertical construction having started, a lot of the foundation work has already taken place. Just like Frozen, the show building will be assembled rather than built on site. Large concrete pieces that will be the walls, the ceilings, and more will be brought here and then assembled like a giant Lego set. So from now on, progress will slowly appear to pick up the pace as the building starts to rise from the ground up. On the construction permits, we saw that there will be a large water basin underground. I believe that's what we can see here, with a large portion of the surrounding walls already assembled. Close to the construction walls and guest paths, a lot of construction material to be used on the foundations and concrete works is being stored alongside large tubes and others. These photos really show how active and large the site is. Of course, not as big as the Disney Adventure World expansion with Adventure Bay and World of Frozen, but that might be good news, as it could mean a faster timeline. The large gray buildings behind the site are temporary construction facilities that have been there for a long time. They provide support to the teams working and should remain there until the end of the Lion King project. There will eventually be a large berm with several trees to hide the Flight Force Gravity Building and Theater of the Stars from within Lion King and the Adventure Bay area. But I do not believe the large dirt mounds we see here are in the right location for this, so it could be temporary storing either for that or for future removal. Overall, there isn't a lot of specific elements to point and connect to the blueprints, but as I said, slowly but steadily we will start to see the largest show building in the resort rise from the ground. It's already incredibly exciting to see that vertical construction has begun. Well, with that, we reached the end of this video. If you haven't, make sure to watch part 1 of the construction update dedicated to all other projects currently underway in the resort, from the transformation of Disney Village to Sequoia Lodge's renovation, and new information and imagery on Disney Adventure World's brand new ride based on Up. Also, check last summer's detailed breakdown of the Lion King permits to learn more about the ride. And now, as always, thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.